There we go. Happy Easter weekend, everybody. Hey, my name is Craig Smith, and I am hosting this Saturday morning on an Easter weekend. Christy, who usually joins me on Saturday mornings, she is in the middle of a move this Easter weekend. So 2 weekends in a row, you guys have to suffer with me alone. So there's Minnie saying happy Easter, everybody. In the chat room. By the way, if you just got on the call right now, we always start a couple minutes early. We had a fun little question asked, what are your Easter traditions? And of course, we have people that listen to these recordings all around the world. So it's fun to be able to look in the chat room. My wife and I are here in Puerto Rico. I'll explain why in a second. It's kind of a big part of today's call. But we were at dinner at their friend's restaurant last night that won the James Beard Award as the best chef in all of the South of America here in Puerto Rico. And they made a traditional Easter dish. It was something that's never on the menu. It was spectacular. Don't even ask me what it was. I have no idea. It was so fascinating and so good. And it was a soup. It was like a soup with like, I don't know, maybe every type of seafood you can imagine in it. So I don't know what it was in it, but it was so good. Obviously, she's a James Beard winner. But this is a tradition that they do in Puerto Rico. So if you want to have some fun in the chat room, say hi to everybody. You're part of this community. So if you're going to tune in on Saturday morning, have fun participating, share what your Easter traditions are. And I see a lot of people already eggnog and brandy with wonderful eggnog with brandy. Wow, Shirley stepping it up, celebrating life, says CrossFit Granny. I love that. Going to church, grilling out, and smoking some food. All really, really good things. Boy, I wonder what the Easter egg hunt would be like at the Castor's home. For those that haven't been to Sam and Linda's stunning and beautiful home, Sam, I mean, what do you put, like 4,000 eggs around and the kids take half a year to go find them? It would be pretty funny to see what that is like. So, all right, well, we're going to get started, everybody. Appreciate you spending some time on a Saturday. By the way, if you are brand new, my wife and I'm going to point to her in a second. Craig and Ann Smith were 1 Million Hope Ambassadors with this company that we adore, that we're so proud of, and we love being in business and partnership with all of you and Sam and Linda Castor. It's, just something we're so proud of. We have a lot of traditional businesses as well. But what we love is that, being part of a social business that can have purpose behind what you're doing, where we get to help people live a healthier life while we get to nourish children around the world just by inspiring people to live a healthier life, is one of the coolest things you can imagine. And it's a global business. We have business all around the world. Japan was fully opening up last week. We got a lot of business in Europe that's growing, Australia, Canada, the United States. It's so exciting to see. And I'm thinking of that, even though I'm in America, at Puerto Rico. But we're very excited. My wife and I are going to start traveling to different spots around the world to grow this global movement. That is so exciting. So if you are brand new, it's super nice to meet you. And of course, so many of you we see every Saturday. And we do this every Saturday because it's like a good, like turning on the light bulb, right? Every week, our business ends on Friday night. So the volume that ends on Friday night at midnight Central Time is the next day is launching a new week of volume. So the fourth week, 4 weeks ago, that volume drops off. And now here's your next 4 weeks. So it's your rolling 4 week volume. That's so important. That's what helps you continually get qualified and move to different impact levels, things along those lines. So in today's call, in what we do on Saturdays typically is to help stay inspired, stay connected. We're all business partners together. We learn from each other in the chat room. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions to share with others your thoughts. So, but the Saturday calls, we do these trainings, and sometimes we have themes, sometimes we have different trainings. Last week, we really focused on how to get started effectively. Really, like if you're going to launch a business, there's steps that you have to be done. We've done a lot of dialed in focuses on the whole part of the first part of this year. We focused on the 10 traits on having a breakout year. So every Saturday we tuned into these and got connected to how we could grow ourselves and grow our business with Elevate. And then today we're going to talk about something we haven't done in quite a while, is talking around this concept of your financial wellness. And I thought this is an interesting weekend to do. It's a holiday weekend. People may be with family, they may be taking time off. Um, it's a good weekend to reflect. It's a good weekend to connect to your faith, obviously. And we talk so often about our health, and we talked about how our products Ace Man and are changing people's lives. But there's this flip side of life, which is the financial part of the world, right? And we know, I used to always jokingly say, what's the number one cause of divorce in America? And people always say money, and I always say no, it's men. But the reality is money is a huge stress in people's lives. Money can create it can create relationship stress. It can create health stress. People end up getting so stressed. It's like one of those hidden illnesses. And sure, we've got great products like Fix and things like that. But you know what product we have that's incredible to deal with the financial challenges is our social business, is being an affiliate, is being a social business partner. So we're going to talk a little bit about today around, having this mindset of having financial wellness. And we talk so much about how being a social business partner, we want to focus on our own health. We want to get healthier. I love it because although I'm glad to share a story saying why this week I'm not healthy, next week I'm going to get back into my traditional routine. But there's something about living that healthier life, being a social business partner, taking our products that I love and proud of, right? And then you get healthier and you feel better. But at the same time, we want to have that same amount of confidence, same amount of excitement, talking about the financial wellness of things. And the more we can recognize that that is one of our products, that we can inspire people to live that kind of life that can make a big difference. And I even love when I talk to people who say, well, my biggest passion is nursing the children. Great. You should build a massive business. You want to be at least 1 million Hope Ambassador like Ann and I and a couple others. You want to be driving so much volume if that's what you want to do is nourish a ton of children. Because the more kids you're nourishing, or the more you've moved up your impact level, the more kids you're nourishing. If it's like, oh, I just like helping other people with their health. Great. Let's do that with as many people as possible. And you're going to create that ripple effect of generating more income. Our number one income earner, which is exciting because Anna and I were pretty much the first ones here. There's people earning more money than we are. And that's the power of this model, power of this industry, power of how this works. But we have people just driving customer volume, making an insane amount of income, which is extremely exciting. And I think this is the most exciting part, is that Alameda is just in its own breakthrough phase. We had great growth last year. We're on a great growth curve to kick off this year. And we still believe we're in that beginning phases of seeing real growth. Sam talked about it on a call, I don't know, it was maybe about a month or two ago, talking about the concept of momentum. And it's you can't just make it happen. It kind of comes together. You have to do all the right things, and then it just takes off. You plan for it, you pray for it, you want it, but it's very hard to all then come together. But when it does, because Sam's been through that before, where companies then gone into the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, it is remarkable what happens. And while we'll be changing people's lives, we'll be seeing people's health get radically changed because of our technologies. We'll see children's lives around the world be changed because we won't be at 66 million. We'll be in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of servings, crossing a billion. I think we're going to have to reprogram the app to figure out all those zeros. So all of that's going to be exciting. But you know what? There's going to be thousands of people's lives radically changed with their health, their financial health, and their financial wellness. So today we're talking a little bit about this, to be able to have the mindset to be excited about financial. Oh, look at this. Anne's bringing me water because I'm sitting outside literally sweating. I don't know if it looks hot, but oh my goodness, it gets warm down. I guess it is closer to the equator, right? And I am talking to a lot of my friends in Minnesota and Wisconsin and other parts of the world that's not that hot. So, that's the exciting part, is today's call is kind of like this mindset around financial wellness and getting excited around that, is because we spent so much time talking about the other ones. Open up. Maybe it's once a quarter. Maybe it's once a month. You have that more serious focus on, okay, are we taking our financial wellness seriously? And a program we developed years ago was around kind of a philosophy, because, it's interesting. A lot of people have a struggle and almost like a challenge with the concept. Nancy Ray just said it's 30 degrees in Wisconsin. I think it's 34 degrees. She said 34. I think it's 34 degrees here, but um, that would be in Celsius. So with our financial wellness, having this mindset of breaking through, because a lot of times there's people struggle with that. If you struggle with beliefs around money, if you struggle around the concept around, believing you're not worthy of having money, if you have a concept of you struggle saving money, or if you have struggle with the concept of being able to earn more income, like feel free, like give yourself a thumbs up or give a thumbs up in the chat room, because it's a real challenge. And I know I struggled with it for years and years and years of my life. I just felt like, I'd done some things that were good, but I wasn't able to keep it. Like it was almost like as the more money I brought in, the more I had to get rid of it. And because there was just this like feeling like I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't, I didn't appreciate the concept of it, or I wasn't worthy of it. All kinds of challenges. So one is, shifting. As much as we try to work and grow on ourselves, we should be growing on this concept of being accepting of being able to create great success with Elevate. With this kind of growth that Sam Castor is going to be moving this company to, and we are all collectively, this generates kind of money that is different. I know some people in this company are making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. That's, there's a belief. A lot of times people have belief problems around money. A lot of people believe I could never earn that kind of money. All of these are factors we want to start getting rid of, right? Joy, thank you. She just said, yes, this is a struggle of hers. And it's a struggle for millions of people because there's so many books, right? There's so many training around that. And if you've ever read a book that you love that's kind of helped you around some of the principles, please share it in the chat room. For me, I think one of the first books I read, The Richest Man in Babylon was a great one. There's a Canadian book. I don't even know if it's known. It's called was it called The Pig and the Python? Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. There's so many great books out there. The Law of Success, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Oh, that's a great one from Cheryl from CrossFit Granny. I remember those ones. That one blew me away when I first read it. So that process started really helping. And one of the things through all that education, and then as both my wife and I started having our own breakthrough, Financial Blueprint, Herb Eckert. Wow, I never even heard of that one. Go for No. That's cool, Nancy. One of the things that for my wife and I that we started to break through is we started to become more, accepting and open and, having that faith that like, yes, we're allowed to be able to create this wealth. And the more wealth we generate, the more good things we can do with it. Well, as that started to happen, we really started to focus on, well, how can we share this with others? And we started training on a program years ago called Earn, Save, Invest, Reward, because a lot of it is, I feel like we just never get taught how to even handle or deal with money, right? And a lot of times we just know we're struggling, we're scraping by, but we're not kind of like focused on it. So this was a roadmap that a few of us put together that kind of helped, at least it helped me. I hope it helps you today. And maybe some of you have heard when we've talked about it, but you can take down a pen and paper and kind of make some notes and then apply this. Maybe it's something that you spend some time this weekend and really think through. But the reason why we call it Earn, Save, Invest, Reward is that society around money is almost backwards. We have this concept that people are rewarding themselves before they have any investments, before they have any savings, and they're not earning enough money. But yet they're going out and buying a vacation they can't afford, or they're doing all these different kind of things. And it's kind of a backward society. And a lot of it's driven with, marketing, and it's trying to drive these kind of things. Or, you've heard the terms before, fake it till you make it, which I don't like that term at all. But it's this concept of, well, what if we start thinking differently? What if we have our vision in mind? We know where we're going. We're excited about it. We have faith to where we're going. But then we start around this principle of earn, save, invest, reward. And under the category earn, it's looking at, well, are you earning enough income? And most people are going to say, no, I'm not earning enough income. But so many people are in that one income line, right? They have one job or one source of income. Now, everybody on this call, you guys are already part of the converted in the sense that you're part of Alabama. So it's that willingness to have that additional source of income going. Ann and I, even with, we make more money than most people do on an annual basis. But we don't just limit our income to Alabama. We have businesses. We have traditional businesses. So we're constantly thinking like from the earning perspective, we're earning income. So maybe there's other things that you can do. I love tying in businesses that support other businesses. So like, for instance, right now we're investing into pickleball and paddle clubs. Well, guess what? All of people playing pickleball and paddle should be using our Alabama products, right? So maybe there's other things that you could do. Maybe you've heard of a Rover dog walker for those that love animals and pet sitting. Rover's it's like Uber for pet sitting. You make extra income and you're meeting people that you can build relationships with Alabama. Win-win. Maybe you have a house or something like that you have an Airbnb and you could have a little wellness package in all of your Airbnbs. Win-win. It connects both. So think of those things. Maybe it's another job. Maybe it's like, hey, you know what? I haven't, maybe you're not happy with your job. You find another job, or maybe it's a part-time job that you can do. Look at that earn category and ask yourself, well, could you be doing more? And could you be doing other things that could support the Alabama social business within that earn bucket? So as you're building that earning, then the second bucket is this saving bucket. And this one I find is so interesting because a lot of people are like adverse to saving. I know I was. Until I met my wife, I had no concept of saving. I was lucky enough to create some businesses that generate a lot of money, but man, it was just, that was the lifestyle I was having at the time and the beliefs and the challenges I was going through. So that saving concept ties into the kind of some of those books like Richest Man in Babylon or Pay Yourself First mentality, and get into those structures. There's a lot of great, who's the guy? Dave Ramsey does some great trainings on this. And I think, by the way, for those that are coming to Dallas, there's going to be a great breakout session on the power of our compensation plan, and then really understanding the benefits from the taxes perspective. And then even Dave Osborne, I believe, is going to be doing kind of a biblical training around the principles of financial stuff. I think it's some of the Dave Ramsey work. I could be wrong on that, but I think so. But if you think of this saving concept, this is, again, where being an Elevate partner, save on your taxes. Having a home-based business it's almost insane for somebody not to. Just to be, what's it called in America, a W-2 employee and not have a home-based business. Crazy, right? So that is one thing we should be doing, is making sure everybody is with Elevate just for that perspective. But then how else can we start to save as we start treating the principles of paying yourself first? One of the ones we love, and in the chat room, I'd love to hear this. Give me a thumbs up for those that are using Acorns. There's other tools similar to that, but if you've heard of Acorns, it's an app that does an automatic roll up. So every time you spend money, say, you spend $1.50, it's going to roll up 50 cents and it automatically saves that money. And then it's reinvesting it into Roth IRAs. That's all professionally managed. That's a really, really interesting concept because it's teaching you automatic saving. Now, maybe you have a little bit more discipline and you can create a separate bank account. My business partner, and he's actually the CFO of Alabama, he loves lots of bank accounts. He's all about bank accounts, and they all are buckets to him. So that's another great example of being able to take part of your savings, throw it into a bucket, maybe put it into something that has a high yield savings. But you get into those new strategies, and it's a philosophy, right? But if you're earning a little bit more, now you can be saving a little bit. Now, if you want to put everything in savings and just have it sitting there, of course not. I'm not a financial advisor or anything along that line. So I'm just giving you things that we've done, that we've shared with people that have worked for us. But, you always can work with professionals and whatnot. But the principles around the saving make sense. A lot of them talk about having that bucket. So if you lost all of your income, you had enough money put aside for 6 months or 12 months, whatever time frame you felt like it would take to get into that next, to get back that income back. So the third bucket, though, is invest. And this is the one I always thought was really scary. Love what Dave teaches us. Kathleen Williams says, that's awesome. Yeah, I was always super nervous about the invest side. It seems scary. I still don't understand it. But there's tools today that work. A lot of different Even Apple Card has this. Acorns offers it now. Robinhood offers it. There's all these different apps. So you can put money into high yield savings that's going to, guarantee you're making 4.5% on your money. Well, that's better than sitting at a bank earning zero, right? So there's those principles. There's things like Acorns, which is professionally managed for you. Our Acorns, since we started training on this with Alavea, is running at, I think it's about 16.4%. Maybe it's down a little bit because of the last couple of weeks, but it's been over 15% return, which is incredible. And if you can amortize that over years, it's such a smart way to do things. And then, of course, if you're earning that much more, you're getting into the saving principle concept. Now, you might have even more money start to transfer into being investing more. And now you get into the rich dad, poor dad philosophy, right? You're earning money and you're letting your money earn money for you. And that's always a difficult one because what do you need to have for it to really work? You have to have money. But what we find is, just like I didn't start when I was young because I wasn't in the headspace, right? So start early, or start now, and just get into that flow. So earn, save, invest, and then the last one. Once you got this structure put together, then you start to have your own confidence around money as well. There's more excitement around it. Yeah, exactly, Cheryl. Never too late to start. Start now, and you build these principles, and you're going to see how your shoulders. You start to get excited about it, and you start to shift your energy around it, and then the rewards happen. And the rewards can be a lot of different things. It doesn't mean you have to go buy a car or you're doing a huge vacation or things like that. And maybe it's been a really great year. You can do that. But a lot of times the rewards can be those little things, right? Maybe it's going out for dinner with friends. Maybe it's, buying a gift for a friend that you haven't seen in a while. Or, it's those little things that can make a difference. Maybe it's booking a monthly day spa for you to say, hey, you've done a great job with this. And again, some of these things actually will constitute as expenses to your business and some of them won't. But, the reward side of things makes so much more sense when the other things are in place. But we live in a society where it happens opposite. And I heard somebody once talk about if you want to do something major and get something extravagant, you can, try to get to the point where you've earned, saved, and invested enough that you can replace that. And once you've got to that value, that's when it's time to create the reward. And I think you'll find a few things that become very interesting as you start to go down this process. Those rewards, especially if they're materialistic, sometimes fade away. It's really interesting. And the desire to do more things like support Mana Relief, to get more engaged with Alavea and have a bigger impact, to be able to donate more, to support people that you love. That's when things can get really exciting. I know for Ann and I, there it is, earn, save, invest, reward. Oh, there, Raphael, thank you for posting that. Ann and I, that's one of the things we love doing, and many of you know that we love investing money into young entrepreneurs, and not even young entrepreneurs, but just entrepreneurs, people that love the idea of creating something. And this goes into this belief cycle. I'm going to kind of wrap up today with this powerful story because I'm here in Puerto Rico to literally show you this. I didn't fly here to Puerto Rico to show you this, but we are here to celebrate something that happened. And that's why I wanted to do today's call in front of what I'm about to turn my camera around for. And this is a couple that Sam Castor actually has met before and a few others on this call. But a young couple that we met in Dallas. Their names are Johan and Lucia. And Lucia was a pastry chef in Dallas, and she was a great pastry chef. She from Puerto Rico, then she went up the ranks in Spain and Miami, and then had the opportunity to be the executive pastry chef at one of the best restaurants in Dallas at the time. And she was written up as the best pastry chef in Dallas by something called D Magazine. But she'd always been an employee. She'd always worked in restaurants. And we became friends with her boyfriend, Johan, who was a tennis coach. Well, one night we all went out for dinner, and in that one dinner, we were talking about what is Lucia's dreams. And she said, my dream would be able to have my own patisserie. And, but she talked about all the struggles they've been through. They had no money. You say you're an executive chef in a great restaurant, you think people it was such a struggle, right? And so So Ann and I, in that meeting, we said, well, what if we could help you make that happen? And we supported them. We invested with them. We partnered with them. And I am now sitting in front of Lucia's Patisserie in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And this restaurant just won the semifinals James Beard Award this week. So that means you're one of the best patisseries in the entire country. It's just about to close right now. And the lineup has been out the door for about 2 hours straight. It's insane. They now have a business that's doing in the millions of dollars. It's won all these awards. They open 3 days a week. But then they're fulfilling. Yeah. Is that so cool, Sam? Sam is like, that's so cool. He's met Lucia and Johan. And, what I love about this story is actually they got inspired by Olivea's story because they came to an event here in Puerto Rico when we did one a long time ago. And they got really involved with making sure that they kind of have their own social business component where they're supporting different organizations here in Puerto Rico, something that they're very passionate about. But the reason I'm finishing with this story is that when we first met with them, there was a belief that it could never happen. And we went out for dinner with them last night and they talked about that they even said, like, when we said, well, let's do this together, let's get going. They were like, there was this concern that it wouldn't happen, but then they were willing to do the work. And they talked about some of the incredibly challenging days. They talked about, oh, she's here every morning at 3:30 or 4 in the morning, every day other than Sunday and Monday. And like the work ethic and the vision they've had staff come and go. This building's now double the size from the building we had down there. And when we moved to this building, somebody locally didn't want them here because of how busy it was going to be, and fought with who's a very wealthy person, fought with the mayor to ban them from opening. So we had to pay for, I think it was 6 or 7 months of this rent without being able to be open. Challenges, right? Sam, if you hear Sam and Linda's Castor story, you've got the enemy that's going up against you, keeping you from some of thing incredible breakthroughs. Think with Elevate, like these things are now getting out of our way so we can go make this impact. And Lucia and Johan, they had to do that same thing. So even as you're kind of going through the rest of the Easter weekend, hopefully with family or friends or hanging out or reading a great book, take some time and kind of go through this earn, save, invest, reward, and work on your financial wellness, and recognize that Alivea is a powerful, powerful tool. And even if it's a tool that supports other tools you're part of, but it's this idea that how does Alivea fit into that life, and how can you set that goal that earning part from Alivea can grow, and then what do you do with that money? Because what we found, is you have a whole bunch of money sitting in a bank account. That's also, or investments. That gets kind of boring. And I get it. I know a lot of people love to just have massive amounts of income, and we know there's crazy wealthy billionaires out there and all that stuff. But what you can do with money becomes inspiring. That's what we love about Sam and Linda. I've never heard Sam talk about my goals to make this kind of money. All I've ever heard him is saying, I want to get to 7 billion kids. That's the focus. I highly doubt Sam's even done the math, what that even means. He knows it because he's a very smart businessman, but the reality is that is their passion. So what is your passion? We talked about that last week. Last week's call was discovering your why. So kind of piggyback off of last week's, really lock in that why, lock in that passion, but tie it into your financial wellness, and then look at Alivea. What is that path? So, sorry, choking here. Wherever you need to go, realize this is the vehicle that can make it happen. So that's the kind of the fun little message today. I'm seeing a couple of people are putting messages in the panels only. I love it. I love it. Some great messages. Well, look, I hope you guys got some good value out of today. I hope you have a fantastic Easter weekend. And again, take some time, even if it's just by yourself. But if you do take some time, one of the things I do recommend is then share it with someone else. So it could be somebody you work with, Alivea, it could be a family member, maybe you have a mentor you work with. And the reason you do that, there's something magical that happens. It's like prayer when you can kind of, you're having that thought and that conversation and you're sharing that. The same thing here is we put down our ideas around how we want to earn, save, invest, reward, and what our goals are with Alivea. When you share it with someone, it starts to create that path that it helps you being accountable for moving forward to do the things that we have to do, like Lucia, getting up here and her whole team showing up at 4 a.m. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to make this happen. And we have the same things to do in front of us, right? We want to get up every day. We want to talk to new people every day. We want to follow up with our customers every day. We want to check our Ripple every single day. We want to track what the activity that we're doing to build up to the next impact level. That's the focus that we want to bring to this. So, all right, everyone. Well, I hope you had a fantastic, happy Easter to everyone. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Thank you for spending time with me today and with all of us on this call. And Monday night is the April kickoff call with Mr. Sandcastle, our CEO. So you want to tune in for Monday night. Big things happening this Monday night, 7:30 p.m. And then Tuesday night, we have a special call with Chrissy. It's going to be the first love call of April. So, all right, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. Ciao.